Joining us now is Republican South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, great to have you here on this holiday week, sir. A lot of news, a lot happening. We're watching the White House. We'll be watching the Capitol later today. To what extent do you believe this country should continue to aid Ukraine in this fight?
Completely all in, without equivocation. If Putin dismembers Ukraine, he will not stop. China is more likely to go into Taiwan. The world will unravel, and no domestic problem gets better here at home, allowing Putin to destroy Ukraine. Quite the opposite. If you can stop Putin in Ukraine, China will probably rethink invading Taiwan, and the world will be a better place. Nobody's dying over here, no American soldiers. We're spending money, but it's being spent at a good cause, the cause of freedom. So I'm all in, whatever they need, as long as they need it.
So when you say all in, Senator, would you agree to give Zelensky what he says he wants, which is the long-range ATACMS artillery missiles? Would you give him Gray Eagle drones? Would you give him Reaper drones? You give him all that?
I would give him the ability to dislodge Russians from his country. Right now, the Biden administration has done more, and I appreciate doing more, but not the offensive capability to dislodge the Russians from the east, particularly Crimea. So the longer-range weapons would hurt the Russian military more effectively. The drones would be the biggest game changer. If you had these large Reaper gray drones, you would kill tons of Russians without losing any Ukrainians in the endeavor and change the tide of battle. The Biden administration just can't quite embrace victory for Ukraine. I can.
We're just starting to get some word from the White House on the discussion that the two world leaders are having, Senator. I can bring you a couple things that we've heard from Zelensky. It's a great honor to be here. Okay, and he's indicated he's only here, quick stop, few hours in the United States is what he has suggested. And he is saying in the White House right now that he appreciates President Biden for all his help. We'll shortly see what more comes from this meeting. What do you want to see come from this meeting today, Senator?
Well, I want the administration to up their game and give the Ukrainians the capability to go on the offense more effectively to end the war on terms favorable to Ukraine and us. Here's the problem. There's no off-ramp for this war. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. How does this war end? When Russia breaks and they take Putin out. Anything short of that, the war is going to continue. To ask the Ukrainians to give Russia part of their country after all this death and destruction is not going to happen. To signal a ceasefire, Russia will take the opportunity to rearm and come at them again. So we're in it to win it, and the only way you're going to win it is to break the Russian military and have somebody in Russia take Putin out to give the Russian people a new lease on life.
Senator, in terms of this issue of how anything will end, how will the border crisis end? That's a big question. Title 42 at some point is going to come to an end. There's an omnibus spending bill that may go to a vote in the Senate tonight, $1.7 trillion, of which $410 million will provide enhanced border security in Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, Tunisia, and Oman. But as Greg Abbott said, not a dime for the U.S. border. Listen to what he said this morning.
In that very bill, they were giving money to Tunisia, but not to Texas to deal with our border security problem. The priorities established in that bill are reprehensible when it comes to addressing the real needs that we have here in the United States of America and the open border policies that Congress has a responsibility to step up and solve.
You support this omnibus spending bill. What do you say to him?
Well, I'd say, we do need border security. But, Governor, here's the problem. They're not trying to evade capture. They're turning themselves into the first Border Patrol agent they can find because they're abusing the asylum system. You can build a wall all the way across the border. People are coming here and saying, here I am, I'm claiming asylum, and under the Biden policy, they never leave. Until you change the asylum laws, you're not going to stop this. When Title 42 goes away, and it will, the courts will not save Biden here. He could change policy with a stroke of pen, but when they hear that Title 42 deportation authority no longer exists, you're going to double the number of illegal immigrants. They're not avoiding capture. Bill, I mean, that guy deserves some kind of award for being down there. Is anybody trying to run away? Some are, but most people are going to the first American they can find to turn themselves in. So it's not a border security problem alone. It is an asylum abuse problem. And until you change our asylum policies, they're going to keep coming. And the day you do away with Title 42, you're going to have a tsunami of illegal immigrants, 100,000 a week.
Senator, real quick final thought here as we're getting more from the White House, just a readout from the pool, their notes revealing that President Biden, referencing the 300 days it has been since this war began, hard to believe, talking about the assaults on the civilians there, the schools, the orphanages, saying that Putin is now trying to use winter as a weapon, but the Ukrainian people are inspiring the world. This is some of the exchange that we're seeing here. The president said to Zelensky a moment ago, "You are the man of the year in the United States of America." Zelensky is speaking in English, saying this is a great moment for him. He would have come sooner, but the situation was so difficult. He then said, quote, "We control the situation because of your support." I wanted to get a quick final thought from you on what we're hearing from the White House.
Well, number one, I'm glad we're all behind Ukraine and providing them weapons. They need more offensive capability. But here's what I'd say to President Biden. You have the president of Ukraine right there in front of you. His number one request to me when I went over earlier this year was to make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. I had a resolution that passed the Senate 100-0, urging the Biden administration to designate Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law. The Biden administration has fought us at every turn. So you really want to help the Ukrainians? Designate Russia a state-sponsored terrorism under U.S. law. That will taint the regime all over the world, bigger than we've ever done before, and it would matter.
There seems to be a reluctance on the part of this president to push Putin harder than he is already, which is why they're not going to get those ATACMS and the drones as well. Senator, it's always good to spend time with you.
Thank you.
Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Thanks.
Senator, thank you very much.
Thank you.